entertaining podcasts I listen to. I don't listen to many. That one, Francine, is a different point of view. It's a female point of view, but someone who's been through the hardcore wars. So
Yes.
what Francine has to say to me matters and is important. And there are two guys up in New York, Monte and the Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
I find them hugely entertaining. I find them fun to listen to. But those three are the only three podcasts really other than, the PW Insider stuff that I listen to at all.
Jimmy Jam.
What up?
4 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon as we're playing a little hooky today, as we're going to have former WWE superstar Karrion Kross. Is that what we call him now? Or Killer Kross? What we should call him?
I like Killer Kross. I never liked Karrion Kross anyway. So.
Well, you know why they couldn't call him Killer Kross in the WWE, right? You can't market that, right?
Can't market Killer Kross? Why?
I don't know the word killer, maybe.
We've canceled the word killer?
Yeah, we are.
Does that mean Iron Maiden Killers has been canceled? I just saw it at Mr. Cheapo's.
What I'm trying, listen, dude, in today's society, man, if you're trying to market stuff, listen, if you owned it,
it's a great
if
name.
I said to you, don't use the name Killer, you would agree, right?
Unless we were told not to use it, I don't see any reason. I would have to be convinced because I think Killer Kross is a great name.
Anyway, we're both playing hooky from work. Not hooky. We snuck out of work because we, to get this interview in, and then we're heading back to work. So, kudos to you, Jimmy, and your dedication to the Monte The Pharaoh show.
Art first. Hey, while I was playing hooky, remember this album, Mike? That's Leonard Skinner, One More from the Road, double live.
Wow. Where'd you get that?
Mr. Cheapo's. Cheap Pop.
I thought you had made that yourself. Where's Mr. Cheapo's?
I think it's in Mayfair Shopping Center. You know where that is. Come on.
Oh, wait a minute. I know. That's still in there?
It's been there for decades. And decades. It's so cool to be able to go to a place that sells record albums. It's really cool.
Well, a lot of places sell vinyl nowadays, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised it had a comeback. I'm surprised. Are you surprised? I'm surprised that it had a comeback.
The old Nintendo games got a comeback. Everything gets a comeback, dude. Let me ask you this, man. So the internet has tagged us as the Howard Stern of pro wrestling, right? And now people are kind of dogging us because Howard's turned into a little weasel. So, I mean, what are you thinking about that, man? Do you think we should try to get the internet to stop calling us the Howard Stern of pro wrestling?
I don't care what they call us as long as they're watching. Whether they love us or hate us, as long as they're watching. It doesn't matter what they call us.
I want to remind everybody that Killer Kross will be joining us, Karrion Kross will be joining us at 4 o'clock. Just a few minutes away from that.
I see that you put Killer up there. You didn't put Karrion.
Well, I didn't know. I don't know what his contract status is. So, I'm trying to behave, right? So,
it's hard.
Again, the publisher, allowed us to bring him on. So, I mean, I think it's I want to be respectful. I mean, his real name's Kevin. So should we call him Kevin? Do you think that's disrespectful?
Kevin Kross?
Well, his name is Kevin Kazar, right?
He wasn't born Killer Kross. You're ruining the whole thing.
Could you imagine that? I know what to name him. Let's name him Killer Kross.
He's cradling
Killer. Let's name him Killer.
Look at those beady blue eyes. There you go. Nice. Very nice.
You know, I just think to myself, it's like, yeah, so what if the WWE didn't re-sign you? You still got that smoking wife, right? So what does it really matter?
Yeah, and I still think there's a plethora of opportunities where he'll be paid well.
Yeah.
He's going to be fine.
Want to remind everybody this Thursday, Brian Blair joins us live, and he's going to set the record straight on a lot of different things, right? Regards to the passing of Hulk Hogan. Now the rumors are saying that Hogan, allegedly could have been murdered. There's so much stuff out there, dude. I mean, listen, you called it a couple of weeks ago. They're going to milk this cow.
They are.
Bubba the Love Sponge, who became relevant for 2 months, is now becoming irrelevant again. So now he's just got to keep making up shit, you know what I mean, and other ones, So listen, no one was closer to Hogan than Brian, right? I mean, they're about as close as two compadres can get. So Brian is gratefully for us will come on air, and we'll find out what happened at the funeral with Missy Beefcake and Linda Hogan, and let's find out the truth behind that. And there's so much shit to uncover, dude. I don't even think we can get everything in an hour, man. You know what I mean?
You'll forgive me, but the whole thing just makes me sad. The guy can't die in peace. I can't get past it, Mike. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold on, and I will hold on to everything Hogan was to me. And it's hard to avoid it. We all have phones, and it's hard to avoid all the news and all the talk and everything. But you know where I'm at with it. Let the man rest. I think it sucks. What a terrible way to, go. The way it's being handled. I think it's horrible, Mike. I don't think there's any way around it. And yes, we do have to cover it. It's part of what we do. It's wrestling. So yeah, while I know I have to talk about it, I also hate what's happening. I hate it. I hate what's happening. Let the man go already, But they're not going to. Not the Bubbas out there. And it'll be very interesting to hear what Brian's got to say. We've been wanting to get Missy on. We've been wanting to get others on. Thanks to Coco, he came on, and Tony. But Brian will definitely be, as you said, nearest to the source. So let's see what Bubba's got to say.
Again, we'll clear the air, and I'm sure Brian will tell the truth behind everything, right? There's also like Hogan was feeling great, and then he wasn't feeling great, and on and on and on. I want to remind everybody that Karrion Kross will be joining the show at 4:00 today. We're going to talk about his book, Life is Fighting. The dude's a beast. We all know that. Yeah, we'll get into a couple of subjects, Jimmy. But real quick, we're on the clock here. I'm going to play this video. Why don't you get you an idea what you thought about this?
In the ring, tensions boil over, crossing lines into unexpected violence.
Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, I think that's a little.
Oh, you don't sell it? What's that? You don't sell it?
Dude, he's not a fucking worker, bro. No, we're good. I know you will.
No.
We're good.
I will fuck him up, bro.
I know you will.
I don't play that shit.
Sorry about that, dude.
Hello?
Double leg that motherfucker and start welding him. I just saw the video.
Shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake the nigga up. He's fucking in the ring, fucking flatlining, bro.
My bad.
Didn't have to do all that shit.
So that's a hot subject in wrestling right now, Jimmy. We'll cover more on this on Thursday at 9:00. But What are your thoughts about that? I know you weren't really. I don't know how far you looked into this, but it looked like a work that the guy just, you know, I don't know, just change. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. What are your thoughts?
Why is it all being filmed? Why was the conversation afterwards filmed in the first place?
So that is a total question. I agree with. From what I understand, and we'll dive deep into it on Thursday. But from what I understand, the promoter's asking all the wrestlers not to talk about Rajah Jackson. Okay, that's the culprit that took on this other individual.
Right. Well, one thing's for sure, you can't fake those punches.
Oh no, the dude was unconscious. They even said he flatlined.
Yeah,
they said he was choking on his teeth, man.
Right. So has this guy been arrested?
As far as I know, they're investigating the situation. Because remember something, dude, it's wrestling, right? It's wrestling. So, you don't know. Like, I guess they can't go running around arresting people in wrestling. They have to make sure that it wasn't, a work for attention. You don't want to go arrest this guy. And then all of a sudden the guy that was assaulted turns around and goes, oh, no, that was all part of it. And blah, 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 blah. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
I do know a lot of people donated to this guy. So if it is a work, it's not a work, man. I do.
They're taking donations. I would say, no, it's not a work.
I mean, where does a guy lose control like that in a fake wrestling match? Well, are you that mad over the beer can thing? We'll talk about Mark Henry, but Mark Henry was like, you don't hit a real fighter in the head with a beer can. I'm like, what?
First of all, he thought he was a worker. You heard the other guy going, dude, he's not a worker. You know what I mean? So did he really, clock him super hard with the beer can, or was that a wrestling clock with a beer can?
Okay, so say he clocked him real hard with the beer can, right? He thought he was a wrestler.
Either way, it shows poor judgment on who brought this animal, into the picture. Don't you know? You can't. I don't understand people's ability to judge character. Wouldn't you know? I know I would know. I'm sorry, Mike. I have a great read on people. I do. I would be like, don't bring this guy in. He's a fucking lunatic. He doesn't get it. You can see that the guy doesn't get it. He was involved in wrestling. He's got no clue what it is.
All right, but let me ask you this. Did you see when he picks up the guy, right?
Yeah,
the guy is giving him the body. He's giving him his body. Yes. It's not like he could have picked him up on his own. So he's giving him his body. So at what point do you decide to go, okay, since this guy knows we're supposed to be in this together, I'm just going to really unload on him?
Well, he trusted him, and he should have realized right from the beer can thing that this guy doesn't belong here. All the wrestlers that are saying, oh, you shouldn't hit a real fighter with a beer can. Look, if he was brought in to work and then he decides he's not going to work, then that's a judgment of character. You got to know who you're bringing in. So the second he got clocked with that, I wouldn't have worked with him the rest of that program. Why did you even continue? If you had something prearranged, why would you even do it after that? Look at that reaction.
Well, the guy was out contact. You saw the other wrestlers come to his aid, right? I mean, thank God for that other guy jumping in. I'm sorry I don't have all the names, but I mean, what the hell?
I'm talking about the beer cup. Did I see cocaine in there, by the way? Was that cocaine in there?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Could have sworn I saw cocaine in there.
Maybe.
I'm being serious. No, I'm going back to the beer can incident. You've got to know that, number one, this guy is a loose cannon. Number two, he doesn't get it. He doesn't even understand what wrestling's all about. And he's locked into some imaginary la-la land where my dad is Rampage Jackson and I'm here to fuck people up. Yo, no good. You don't bring him in. This never would have happened if I'm running it. The end. I don't care what his name is. And you know what? What's his name? His father's name. Once again, here we go again with whether it's wrestling, whether it's boxing, whether it's, rest on your own fucking laurels. Okay? Rest on your own fucking laurels, all right? I don't care who you're cousins with or who you were, whatever you were with in the past with somebody. Rest on your own fucking laurels. So them bringing this guy in just because he's the son of, big fucking deal. And he's a loose cannon. You gotta fucking know. I mean, I don't think it would have happened with me on running a promotion. I would be like, no, can't you tell? I'd be telling you, Mike.
Well,
Mike,
let me ask you.
nuts.
Let me ask you this: do you think this guy deserves to go to jail?
Can I hear more details before I make decisions like that?
I will have more. I will give you. We'll get a full vote on Thursday to discuss this, right? And
I'll tell you what. I don't think that. I think already, because I'm such a pessimist / realist, I already think he's not in jail because of who his father is. That's what I think.
Really?
Like, right away.
You think his father has that sort of clout?
No, I think his father has cash though to be able to keep him out of jail for the next.
Well, the guy was an MMA fighter, right? So I think he got suspended. I think he got suspended.
Still a fucking name, and I'm sure he could find.
No, I'm talking about the father, the son, the guy that was inflicting that harm, right?
Right.
He is an MMA fighter. And then I'll ask you this, Jimmy. Do you think that when you're a boxer like a Mike Tyson, or you're an MMA fighter like this guy, or even his father, do you think they shouldn't get involved in choreographed wrestling because they can't turn it off?
Well, Mike Tyson worked just fine in the wrestling circles.
Yeah, but he wasn't fighting anybody, right? He was kind of.
Well, he also
Vince had him under wraps, yeah.
But Mike is a fan of wrestling. We all know that. Mike was a fan of professional wrestling when he was busy being Mike Tyson. You know, he loves professional wrestling. He understands it. That's why Tyson was a good grab. You know, for so many different reasons. You know, I mean, as nutty as Mike Tyson was then, and he seems a lot better nowadays, but he's still nutty. But you know that he loves wrestling and he gets it. And that's why Mike Tyson worked out so well, because he knows it, he gets it, he respects it. You can see that this kid doesn't know wrestling, doesn't respect it, wants to be like, hey, it's all about me. You don't bring that in. You don't bring that in. You know, and as to whether or not he goes to jail, I guess the police are going to have to continue their investigation.
How about you personally, when you see something like this, how does that affect you?
It doesn't affect me. Well, why would it affect me? I don't see how it would affect me.
Well, because you look at society and then you see a defenseless guy who's giving your body.
Goes back to the promoter. I'm sorry. You know, it doesn't affect me. I think it's a bad look for wrestling, but it goes back to the promoter. You got to know who you're hiring. I wouldn't have brought him in. And I certainly wouldn't have continued the program after the beer can incident. You do not. Whatever you had planned with him, it's obvious he has no clue.
All right, well, here's our guest, man. Special guest. Can you hear us out there, Mr. Kross?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Of course, man.
So, first of all, I want to say, how's your book doing? You know, Life is Fighting. I got my own. I'm in the middle of reading it. How are the sales right now?
Really good. We were over 20,000 copies just in the national numbers on pre-sales. I haven't recently gotten the new figures in, but the publisher's pretty happy. They offered me a contract for the next book without even wanting to see the second book. So I think it's a good problem to have, but the demand of how much it's being purchased is being difficult for them to keep up with in terms of printing new ones. So it's good.
Well, congratulations. Look, you know what? Again, I'm not asking about the numbers, but we talk about records and downloads. And remember, you know, you're younger than us, but back in the day, artists got a lot more money for their records. Now downloads, they get less. Is it like that in the book world, or is the money A-okay?
Comparatively, I'm not sure. Records to books. But I got a very good deal when I was speaking with my publisher. I've been happy with everything that's happened with them, 100%.
Well, congratulations. All right, well, we've got short time with you, so welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. Just so you know, me and Jimmy snuck out of work to get this one in with you, so let's have at it while we got him. Jimmy, go ahead, buddy.
Real quick, wait now, hold on. Am I calling him Killer? Am I calling him? He's always going to be Killer to me. So to me, he's Killer Kross. He'll always be that to me. You find the timing ironic with the release of the book, and I know you can't talk about what's going on with WWE, but is the timing ironic here with the release of the book?
It's pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. Yeah, not exactly how I envisioned what was going to be happening when the book got released, but. The irony of it, and a lot of people have actually brought this up to me, it's at the Comic-Cons that I've been at, the horror conventions, is I kind of foreshadowed in the book how my mentality on navigating through life in terms of maintaining morals and principles over money was going to dictate where I'm at right now. I don't know how far you guys are into the book, but I mean, there's a price to pay for how much money you want to make in life, and I've always put my principles before all of that, and I will continue to do so until I am no longer here. So that's the best way I can put it.
I'm just going to assume, Mike, that he's tight with CM Punk.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, morals over money. Although Punk is back home, obviously nowadays.
Well, at least on my end, as being an older statesman, I'll say thank God there's some morals left in society. Then, right? Because there's few and far between. So kudos to you, man.
Yeah. Well, I know it's what drove Punk all those years ago, but never mind Punk. Let's ask you about the martial arts. Can you fill the folks in on your martial arts in the past? You know, in a sport where there are far less legitimate tough guys, but you are one of them. Can you tell us about the martial arts?
Sure. So I grew up on my dad's side, at least, like 6 uncles and an aunt all married to kids, and they all knew how to fight. And some of my uncles were more about boxing and wrestling than the rest of them. But I grew up in like a sports combat culture in my family. Grew up on a lot of action movies from the late 80s. So you see how all of that is glorified. You want to learn how to do it. And I studied all different types of martial arts when I was younger. But the ones I really gravitated to that I felt were most practical were boxing, catch wrestling. I had a really good Kyokushin teacher, which is essentially nowadays just freestyle kickboxing. It's a type of karate, not Shotokan with the American flag pants at Rex Kwon Do. Kyokushin, you could there was a founder in that martial art. His name was Maso Yama. He was a Japanese fellow. He did a public demonstration a couple times where he punched a bull in the head and killed the bull. The driving power of the punching from karate was coming from the ground up, very much like Western boxing, where they were teaching to throw with the hip, where the elbow was really tight to the hip, and you'd release as you're driving with the rotation and lock out on the tail end of it. That form of karate was way ahead of the rest of it, in my opinion. Muay Thai, and obviously, of course, I can't go without saying jiu-jitsu. Just put some time in last night, 3rd-degree brown belt. And that's my go-to now. I really enjoyed that the most. I always learn something new every time I'm on the mats with that. So,
real quick, Mike, I got to throw this in. Bruce Lee versus Andre the Giant in a shoot fight. Who wins? We talk about this all the time. Who wins?
whoever has the better game plan.
So Bruce has a chance. Interesting. Very good. Go ahead, Mikey.
So, a little bit off subject. You know what's going on, that independent show this weekend with the MMA thing. So being a true martial arts guy, what was your feeling when you saw that and someone taking advantage when you guys are all supposed to be trusting each other, right? I mean, you being a legitimate tough guy, and clearly one guy's an MMA guy, probably a little more tougher than the independent wrestler guy, I assume. What were your thoughts about that? What kind of feelings did you have about that?
Well, I want to say I don't know any of these people. I've never met them before. I know of them from the videos and obviously everything going around the news feeds. I think it's a really, really, really sad situation, actually, for everybody involved. And I'm still waiting to hear the entire story of what actually happened besides what we've all obviously seen. Obviously, it was really horrific to see. It should have never happened. But I really want to know how we got there, because I don't think the whole story is out yet. I wish it never happened, and I kind of wish I didn't even visually watch it because it was very difficult to watch.
If someone tried to take advantage of you like that, would you be able to recover out of that, or you, even regardless with your skill set, would have been stuck in the same position as the other wrestler?
I would immediately put them unconscious without even the second thought. For my safety and the safety of somebody else in the ring, that's how I would deal with that situation. And that's how most of us, I mean, depending how you're trained, you try to do that. But again, I don't want to say what I would have done in that situation. It's the whole thing. I just wish I never even watched it. I wish I heard from somebody about what happened and I visually didn't even watch it. It was just a horrible situation. I want to know what the full story is, though, because there's a chance that kid may have been misled into something and thinking, I don't know. I almost don't even want to even say too much.
No, I agree with you. We got to hear the full story. Things can happen, and let's find out. And Hopefully, it's not the case what we're all looking at, because if it is, then it's like
I'm glad
else.
the guy's alive. I saw this morning that he's alive. Thank God.
And kudos to everybody donating. I'm going to go a little bit off subject, right? So you're a pro wrestler, credible, famous person. We're fans. But in this world, some regular guys get to make a difference in podcasting. And from what I understood, you were a fan of the Kevin Castle, Don Tony program, which is very cool, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I thought that I would take the opportunity to ask you, how did you feel after you heard about the passing of Kevin Castle, after you kind of not grew up on their show, but listened to their show quite often?
I cried. I talked to him a few times actually over the phone, as if, I were to hear about a friend, any friend passing. It's upsetting to hear. And I privately spoke to his brother, and I spoke to Don Tony as well. It's sad. Like, for me, I was listening to their show before I had anything to do with the wrestling business as a fan. When I would go do cardio in the mornings, I would put their YouTube channel on and I would listen to it. And I gravitated towards their show because I actually thought they were funny. I'm not, me personally, like a really big fan of listening to opinion piece shows in general about anything, because I don't want my opinion to be sort of subconsciously framed by someone else discussing it. I like to see what everybody has seen, and then I like to form my own opinion about it. But something about them was just very funny. I really liked it. I really liked their show, and one day now, all of a sudden, I hear that they're talking about me on it now when I'm wrestling. That was a trip. That was really cool.
Well, I got to say kudos to you, man, for, supporting them well after you started becoming famous and not forgetting where your origins came from. So we literally this is quick, we've got 4 minutes with you. I'm going to let Jimmy ask you one other question again. I want to thank you again and only wishing you the best in your career. Everything will work out. We spoke about it on the show. You've got all the tools. So go ahead, Jimmy.
It's funny, too, real fast. I raised an eyebrow a little bit when I saw the Kevin Castle question. I was like, what's this all about? But after hearing your answer, I'm very encouraged to know that, hey, like Mike said, we're just fans. So to hear that somebody who was once upon a time just a fan like us got into the business, got big, but never forgot the program that he used to love before he was what he is now. It's very encouraging to me to hear that, from considering we do a program ourselves. But all right, another left-hand turn. Unfortunately, I wanted to get your thoughts on. It's really disturbing me that Hulk Hogan cannot rest in peace. Any thoughts on Hogan? What he meant to you? What he didn't mean to you? His death and all the fallout for one of America's true heroes. When I was a kid, growing up there in the '80s, any thoughts on Hogan?
Yeah, I see it from all sides. I actually feel the worst for people who have a personal relationship with him that can't grieve or talk about him publicly. I feel really bad for them, man, because, it's like, I don't know, that's somebody's father, that's somebody's uncle, somebody, you know what I mean? Like, to try to talk about him publicly and be attacked, I feel bad for them. I also feel bad for people that knew him that felt slighted for the stuff he said. And I never even knew that he said all of that stuff. I actually found out about it in 2020. I'm not like the sharpest guy when it comes to keeping up with a lot of social stuff going on in general. I kind of live in a little bit of a bubble, admittedly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad at least that I was able to have him as a part of my childhood watching wrestling growing up. I had that, which I thought was cool. And he's responsible for much of the success of the business in a way where a lot of people can make a living in it right now, presently. It's a shame that the stuff that happened is going to follow him. You know what I mean? What more can I really say?
Can't say much more than that. Please tell everybody where they can get your book if they are been living under a shell like you claim to every so often. Where is Life is Fighting? Where can we get it? And, add on to the books that are just going off the shelves.
Amazon.com. You can order it. There's also an Audible version of it as well. If you're not an avid reader, if you're interested in going and getting a copy and not waiting for it to be delivered to your house, you can go to Barnes and Noble or just about any independent bookstore. They've got them just about everywhere.
Now, is it your voice? Are you
Yes.
doing the voice? Wow, look at that, man. How much time did you put into that?
About 3 days.
Wow, not bad.
Yep.
And what's the second book going to be about? You're not allowed to reveal that yet.
The second book is going to be about the following 3 years of when I came back to WWE, and probably part of this conversation right now.
Well, I have a strange feeling that there'll be more chapters of that book, and I see nothing but heavyweight gold. Mr. Kross, thank you again for joining Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. You are quite the professional. You've got it all, and we're wishing you the best of luck. Not that you need it from us anyway. God bless.
I appreciate it so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Be well, sir. Thank you so much.
You guys too.
So that was quick, Jimmy, but awesome.
That was awesome. And he's awesome. I was awesome. Is that all we got is awesome?
So let me ask you. So we opened up the show and you said, hey, Mike, remember, I've always got this feeling if someone's good or bad, right?
Yeah.
How can't you think that guy's a good guy? And I'm not just saying because he appeared on our show. It's like, listen to the way he spoke, right?
Well, that's why I used it. It was funny, too, because I could see the gear shifting in his brain. That's why I threw CM Punk's name out there, because when he talked about morals over money, that's why Punk left all those years ago. You know, whatever Punk's today, whatever. But I know that that's the kind of thing that obviously still drives Kross. Kross is about right and wrong, not dollars and cents. So,
well, here's what I thought. A great Hogan question, by the way. All right, well done. This is what I thought, dude. I thought this wasn't a guy like, you know, sometimes people play Switzerland, right?
Right.
I'm going to go right down the middle of the road. This is not, to me, I didn't feel like this is a guy that's playing Switzerland. I feel like this is a guy that honestly feels bad for both sides of the fence.
Yeah, and if he was Switzerland, I think he'd still be in WWE. Tell you the truth. As far as Switzerland,
Well, I think he opened up saying that there's more to life than just money, and
right.
You could tell that he wants more out of his career,
yeah.
More than just respectfully. I'm going to say this the right way so I don't offend anybody. He doesn't want to be Dolph Ziggler.
No,
is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think something else, and it's just a gut read. What else can you tell besides, you know, that he's got a strong moral code? I can pretty much tell that whatever money he's making, I don't think he's blowing it. How's that?
Yeah, I tend to believe that, sir.
I'm not getting the vibe that this guy's like, all right, 8 balls for everybody. You know what I mean?
That's it. So, really like the Kevin Castle answer.
Well done,
really
Mike.
Like that.
That's something I wouldn't have known about. And like I said on the interview, I was like, when I saw this before the show, I was like, well, why are we asking him about Kevin? But you knew about that, so that was great. And that was a great answer, too. It was very inspiring to know that. It was
inspiring, right? Absolutely.
It is. Because like you said, we're just 2 fans after all that have done something with the little train that could. Now it's rolling and stuff. And that's very encouraging to know that Kross was once upon a time just a guy who listened, became big, and stay true with them. That's fucking awesome.
That's it, man.
You don't hear enough about that, you know.
And I really appreciate his comments about the incident that happened this weekend, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? You know what it made me feel like when he said that guy would have been knocked out?
Yeah.
I feel like if this was Bob Backlund, per se,
right. Yeah.
That guy would have never got away with that shit with a Bob Backlund.
No. Not at all.
Kurt Angle or a Brock Lesnar.
No, he wouldn't have gotten Or do I even name drop Chris Benoit? Jesus God.
What makes you think Chris Benoit was legitimately a tough guy?
Chris Benoit would have murdered him.
I disagree. What
are you talking about?
I never have read anywhere where this guy was anything but a professional wrestler.
Well, I will say this much. I think that he would have put him in this place real quick. Wasn't Benoit part of the beating that they gave Daniel Puder?
Yeah, but Daniel Puder.
They gave him a beating.
Jimmy, I'm not going to disagree with you. You know what? You could be 100% right, but all I'm trying to say is, there was reasons why back then
Right.
Like Vince McMahon Sr. put the belt around Bob Backlund
Right.
because
And,
no
and you
one
know
would
what,
pull
though,
that
too?
shit off.
And to be fair to the older generations, too, and it's the truth, though, there were a lot more tough guys.
Yeah,
There were a
absolutely.
lot more. I mean, look at Coco. What do you think Coco would have done to this kid?
You're right.
You know what I'm
You're right.
saying? I mean, Wahoo would have destroyed him. Guys like, oh my God, forget it. They would have just ripped his head off.
Well, I want to remind everybody again, please join us Thursday at 7:30. Brian Blair is going to set the record straight on all the shit we've been hearing about Hulk Hogan, and maybe Monte The Pharaoh could put this to rest and we can stop like Bubba the Love Sponge and some of these other assholes from trashing this iconic person's name. I mean, enough's enough. Let it go.
Yep.
Let it go. You know, again, you want to be hurt over things he said, totally get it. But time to let it go. Let this man rest already, please.
Yeah.
My God. So
Especially
looking
when
forward
it's
to Brian on that, right?
Especially when it's see-through, too. It's so obvious what Bubba's doing. Yeah, I love Brian Blair. He's always been one of the good people, you know?
Yeah, he's a big fan of yours, too, dude. He's always got some nice stuff to say about you, that's for sure.
Yep.
All right, Jimmy, back to work. Thank
Back
you
to
for
work.
running away from work, and I will see you Thursday. All right, my friend. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I know the interview with Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, was short, but the guy's on a book tour, and you know what? We were honored to have this man on. That he gave us at least his 15 minutes, and we do appreciate it. And a shout out to his publicist Claire, who set this up. So thank you again, Claire, and thank you again, Jimmy, and thank you for the people who have joined us. Jimmy, want to send us out?
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh with Killer Kross. And until tomorrow, later.